Every time the couples met and they were kissing, we were like, oh! It's the most awkward kissing. My parents got married in Vegas.
Oh, do
Little
tell.
known fact. Circus, baby.
Oh, and the kids' resort, though.
Excuse me?
Isn't that the kids' resort?
No.
Circus.
I don't think there's a kids' resort in Vegas, Ashley.
I'm trying to shade anybody. I think that I'm always just trying to defend you. And that's kind of where my loyalty lies.
That's why you're the best friend, and I appreciate you.
Okay, Jess. So this is episode. We're good on your end, Jess?
All set here.
Been good for a minute. This is episode 2. I think episode 1 went really well. We got some really good feedback on it, which is exciting.
Here we go. We're still in the game.
What surprised you most about just dropping that? And
I was just proud of us. It's really fun to step into this creative space, and it's nothing, I've never done anything like this. So it was just really cool to see how everyone responded to our friendship too. That of course made me so happy.
Yay. And I know this episode we are long distance.
Long distance besties.
Yeah, so Jessica's going to be doing this from LA and I'm going to be doing this from Atlanta, our respective homes. So that's why we are going to have more of a virtual format this time.
I may have to impose a get Ashley to LA every week. That would be pretty nice for me.
It's not a 5-hour flight.
I know, it was tough.
5-hour bumpy flight with someone coughing behind me the whole time. Can you impose that? That would be fun. But yeah, I am planning to go out there quite a bit as we embark on this new adventure.
Yep, we'll see where it takes us. We may be in Vegas in a couple weeks too. So you never know where we're going to pop up week over week, but we're just happy that everyone tuned in. Thank you for the support on this. And yeah, we're going to continue to see where it goes. And today we have so much to unpack. I did want to clear up something from last week's podcast really quick, because I felt like this came off in a way that I didn't want it to. So I had mentioned that I had a career and that was different from my coworkers, or my co-stars rather, in the first season. So I just want to kind of bring a little bit more color to that and say that, my co-stars are all brilliant. And every time Giannina posts anything about what she's doing with her social media, I screen capture it because I think she is a brilliant influencer. And she's just a brilliant young mind. And Kelly is so eloquent in her podcast and, has brought some really amazing mental health topics to light and has helped so many people and has been the biggest supporter of me. Diamond has like a PhD. She's so low key and she's just very intelligent. I just want to say, because I did feel like I was maybe making it seem like I was the only one who had a career. What I was trying to say is I felt I was the only one in a traditional career in that I came back from taking off 3 weeks. Anybody that's in a sales position knows if you leave for 3 weeks and you come back, you're underwater and you're swamped. So I was having to take that on as well as taping. We couldn't even find time half the time to do these scenes because I was so underwater with work and I was also on the road with work. That's kind of what I was trying to say. So I wanted to bring that to light and just apologize to my co-stars because they are also great and brilliant and they've been so supportive of me in most cases. So that makes me feel a lot better. I want to air that.
Yeah, and I think that I said that, and I think that a lot of times that I just want to defend you against haters, and
there's been a couple hater co-stars that Ashley has been pretty ticked off about. So.
Yeah, I just, and it drove me crazy because I thought, you had so much to lose, and you were risking a lot, and that's what I meant by that. Like, it's not like other people didn't have jobs, but you've worked your ass off to get to where you are in the tech industry. And I still believe this, that you had more to lose. And I stand by that.
Love you.
But I do think I think people are, brilliant at what they do. And I think social media curating is incredibly hard to do. I still don't have my mind wrapped around it. And
I love
think
following Gigi.
No, I wasn't. If I said anything, I wasn't trying to shade anybody. I think that I'm always just trying to defend you. And that's kind of where my loyalty lies.
That's why you're the best friend, and I appreciate you. I had a tough parent moment this morning, which you'll learn. But so our little one, oldest, lost her front tooth yesterday, which is the cutest thing in the world. And she's bleeding everywhere. Cutest smile. Oh my gosh. And we were talking about it all day long and taking pictures and everything. And then this morning, the first thing she did when she came in was say, the tooth fairy did not come. And it was her whole, you could tell she went to sleep thinking about it. She woke up thinking about it. This is the hugest thing, which I love the perspective of having a kid around because you see the world from their eyes and it's just, everything is so much lighter. But I was so mad at us that we forgot to be the tooth fairy last night.
What?
Now what? Well, I told her the tooth fairy probably carries interest. So we'll have to up the ante. She'll be okay.
Teach her about that money early.
We'll come through.
Perfect. So obviously we have watched the Love is Blind season 2. We have a few things to talk about first because we don't want to alienate those of you who maybe don't watch the show and just want to follow us as we podcast. So lots of hot topics. Let's start with the Tinder swindler.
Oh, we did watch this at from Hermosa Beach last weekend.
And I feel the whole time, Jessica, you were like, wait, you were like not believing it. You were like, wait, so is he free?
I know. I was like, so confused. And he is free. He's a free man because it was the perfect crime. The women on their own accord went and took out loans and ruined their credit.
So let me ask you this though, because a lot of people, it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, what an idiot. Like I would never go. Well, I don't even think I would get a loan for that much money, but like I would never get a loan for that much money and then hand it over to Joe Blow I met on Tinder. But very easy to say, right? As we know, kind of being on the internet, like, but what would you do for a guy? Someone you thought you loved?
That's the thing. And he was giving them so much security and making them feel that they were in a committed relationship. Well, he was then using their money to go off and, provide these luxury experiences to his other girlfriends. I cannot imagine upon finding out how these women felt.
Everyone's watching this right now, and I think everyone's judging, but at the same time, it's like, what's the dumbest thing you've done for a guy?
Oh, whew. I'm not going there. Ash?
Probably like, it's always like after a breakup, right? Where, well, for me anyway, where you just kind of act kind of ridiculous. Like,
right. There's some desperosity in realizing, oh shit, I'm about to be alone. Maybe this guy wasn't so bad after all.
Yeah. Or like I'm of a certain age. All right, this guy's nice. He's flying me here, there, and everywhere. Okay, maybe I can front 20 grand to get him out of trouble.
So you have done this?
No.
Are you admitting that you've done this? Okay.
Everybody who's done
thank
knows
God.
They have not gotten any money.
Thank God. Well, I feel so much better for these women now. I feel like, I thought they were pretty courageous to step out and tell the story, considering he's a free man, and they were also filming his compadres who are also free, and they could retaliate against these women. So I think it's super courageous that they're out there telling their story to the world.
Humiliating.
And I love the woman who sold all of his Gucci.
Absolutely. Gotta love her. But yeah, that's one. Speaking of breakups though, and rejection and not being able to let go, what is going on with Kanye West?
It is wild. And I feel like I read yesterday, and I was so proud of Kim because, side note, that a lot of the producers that were on Love is Blind had worked on Keeping Up with the Kardashians over the years, and they said she's actually one of the sweetest people to work with, and she's so kind and compassionate. So I really love her, and I love that she came out yesterday and said, hey, this was really a hard public breakup for me to go through, considering we have this entire family, and this is obviously my third marriage, and I've been through it in the public, but I chose myself. And that's not something that I do very often. And I thought that was really cool that she came out and said that. And on the other side,
the whole thing with such class. I mean, I don't really know what the alternative is because Kanye's like making memes. I mean, do you do that back?
Yeah, that's tough because she's really kind of rising above it all, I think. But I feel bad for him because he has that desperosity that he just wants his family to be together too. And what do you do when you're one of the biggest personalities in the world, and everyone's watching you or you're under a microscope? So I can't imagine how much mental duress he's under.
Yeah, he's got to learn how to. I just feel like he has too many yes people around him too. Like nobody close to him is saying, "Hey, you got to chill. Like, if you look through the comments, it's like a bunch of verified accounts just gassing him up, like, we're on Team Kanye, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you have nothing to do with what's going on. And there are kids involved
Yeah.
here. And
Yep.
Kanye posting Pete Davidson over and over and over and being like, you will never meet my kids.
I feel bad for Pete.
You do. You feel bad
I
for
do.
everyone.
I mean, it's tough dating somebody with, she's got a lot of things going on, and she's got 4 kids, and 4 or 5?
4.
4 kids, and he's coming into the situation. And I mean, well, he's getting a lot of limelight here. Do we know how much his following has grown?
I feel bad for Pete. He's kind of been on an upward trajectory since Ariana Grande. Like, she really propelled him. Like,
that's right.
He's been dating nonstop models. Like, I'm sure if like 3 years ago you were like, Pete, you are going to be dating Kim Kardashian in 3 years, he would be like, you are full of shit.
Oh, totally.
And then,
totally. Look at him. Oh, I love it.
so I don't know if I feel bad for him, but like definitely.
Right.
And I think he's got such a good sense of like humor. Like, he's probably like in bed this morning laughing about this.
Oh, I'm sure. He seems like a really cool guy. Like, everyone in the world would want to hang out with this guy.
Yeah.
And Yi right now is just doing the total opposite. And the other side of the story that came out this weekend, so obviously Larsa Pippen and Kim used to be besties. And I think Kim even referred to her as a sister-like relationship. And of course, Ashley and I are big Real Housewives fans. Shout out, Bravo. But Larsa Pippen's now on Real Housewives of Miami, and someone questioned her, and she said, someone questioned her about the breakup between her and Kim, which elephant in the room. And she said that she knew too much about Kim's relationship with Ye. And I think that's very relatable, right? Because I know...
Best friend.
Yes, yeah. And you're having an argument with your spouse, and you just want to vent. Who are you going to go to?
Right.
And then it's Friday night, and we're all going out, hanging out wherever, and you just wish you had never given them that information.
Absolutely. And I will say Larsa too, I feel like I haven't been watching Miami, but I saw some clips online where she came to Kanye's defense, and I do feel like she probably does know a lot, and I got to give her credit for not just spilling it just to have a headline, if that makes sense.
I agree.
Unless she's going to down the line, but right now, I mean, she probably has a lot of info, and
exactly
not really revealing it. So
I feel like this happens quite a bit. I mean, there's so many times that I wish I could take back the things that I said.
I know.
But your friends are there, and you want to vent to them. So it makes me sad. It makes me sad that that's what came between them.
I know. And I think Kanye had something to do with that too. I think I heard that before.
So you're still going with Kanye?
I'm not on Team Kanye.
You're not going with Ye.
No.
He has officially changed his name, Ashley. You got to get with the times.
Yay. So I am not on Kanye's side. I do understand, like, if I had 4 kids and a husband and I desperately wanted my family to be back together, I do understand acting out in a way, like, let's just keep it real. But I think it's crossing a line into kind of like obsession. And I think that he needs people around him to just kind of check him.
Yeah. He's got to let it go. I think he's got to let it go. She's moving on. She's not going to look back.
You don't think so?
No, I think it's over.
But at the same time,
he's going through the process, He's going through the process, and I feel bad because he is using social media as, way to air.
He's attacking
his grievances. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is, like, is there not, I don't know, is Kanye today not the same Kanye that Kim met? Like, aren't people always kind of like, you knew what you were signing up for type of thing?
Right. But from the way that they've described their relationship, they started out, they were great friends. And I think he was kind of a fashion advisor for her. And then I think once you have 4 kids with someone, and now I'm in a parental role and I really understand it. There's so many more dynamics at play.
Right.
So I doubt there's a shadow of, what their relationship used to be.
Right.
And at some point you just maybe can't get back to that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch it unfold. It's like all of the world is in a group chat right now with Kim and
Right.
Kanye, and like we're all just watching and being like, wait, what? And now
I
he's saying like
know.
Davidson dated Hillary Clinton. There's just like a lot going on right now.
And it's like a 3-year-old when you pay attention. And I mean, the world is giving him attention, right? So he's just going
Yeah,
to keep doing it.
yes, totally. Well, he said he's going to the Super Bowl, so hopefully he will be off his phone later today.
So Facebook is in the news. And I feel personally that they don't innovate very much. But it was one of my very good friend's birthdays yesterday. Jamie Barbary, shout out. Our
Oh, happy
girl,
birthday.
the third musketeer here, the brains behind the operation. And
Totally.
I don't have her on Facebook, I realized, because that is the only way I track my birthdays. And I feel it is the biggest value that Facebook has. Tracks your birthdays and lets you know whose birthday it is, which I happened to miss one of my very best friend's birthdays last month, and it terrorized me. But I don't feel they have a lot of innovation to where I'm wanting to jump on there and see what's going on. But I do like to have the birthday tracker. How do you feel about Facebook? Are you on there? Are we even friends on Facebook?
I think we are.
Okay.
I go on Facebook. So as a journalist prior recovering, I was on Facebook quite a bit just to try to get in touch with people and just like basically high level stalking. And now that I'm not, I get on from time to time, but it's always like checking out like a Facebook like neighborhood group, like what's going on in my mom's neighborhood or
You're old.
what or what do I go on Facebook for? Marketplace.
Oh,
Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace. Thanks for bringing
Okay.
that up.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that. But I don't regularly post on Facebook. I don't remember. I think I posted the podcast, obviously. But before that, I don't remember my last Facebook post. And I don't think that's like the best place to get engagement or reaction or
Right.
communicate anymore. I mean, I think it's like our parents' place. And I think like our generation is TikTok. Then my younger sister, I mean, our generation's Insta. And then my younger sister is on TikTok, which we're trying to get on too. But
We're trying.
we're really trying, guys. But I just don't see any value. If it was deleted tomorrow, I would not care.
It'll be interesting now that they've rebranded to Meta, how they'll innovate.
But people are upset with Facebook. People were not happy with Facebook throughout several like movements and political cycles. And I think it is more an avenue for people to be like trolls. I think like Twitter's number one for that, but Facebook is a close second. And I just don't think that's how we communicate anymore.
I agree. And they've also been heavily censoring. So
What
how
do
do
you
you
mean?
feel about that?
In what regard though?
So if you posted anything about COVID,
Yeah.
in some cases they would take it down. And then they've
Yeah.
also, put verbiage up
Oh yeah.
automatically if there's a keyword that kicks off.
It's COVID, yeah. Everything. I think the keyword was necessary at first because there was so much unknown about the pandemic and COVID, and like everyone thinks they're a doctor, right? So I think I didn't have a problem with that. I understand why people did. Like I get it. Trust me. But taking things down, I think that's such. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna piss people off, but I don't know. Like I don't necessarily have like think about. I don't know. I really don't have a good answer for this, to be honest.
It's hard. It's hard because the people at the top decide what's right. And I think that's where people have an issue.
Sure.
Well, who are they to decide what's right?
Sure.
And that's been, this whole snowball with all of this misinformation.
Right.
Gate.
I get that. I truly understand everyone's thoughts on this. And I think like Facebook is just like brewing with like racism, right? That's like, they're fine with that being on Facebook and like fine with, saying this, that, and the other and just being a complete asshole, like racist. But you're right, like certain things with in the medical community, they're just like, let's delete this. And so it is like, where is the line and like who's drawing it? So I do understand the frustration. And I think that's why Facebook has had such challenges really in recent months. Like everyone on every side of the spectrum is pissed off at Facebook.
Exactly. And the UK is like, we don't need you.
We don't need you.
We're
yeah.
good.
And right. And so many people have jumped from it and it's kind of just like this thing. It's kind of, I don't see it being here in the long run.
Well, they're Meta now. So they're really trying to move into this next phase and innovate. So we'll see what they do. I mean, now that you mentioned Marketplace, I'm going to stick around. And I need my birthdays. I'm sorry. Until someone else comes up with a better way for me to track birthdays, I need it because I can't be disappointing and letting anybody else down. Birthdays are such a big deal.
That's true. And so we love birthdays. We love Marketplace.
Yep,
and
let's keep it around.
I love a Facebook neighborhood group every once in a while.
Heck yeah.
Let me know what the HOA is doing.
Oh my gosh. I love it. LIB2. What can I say? It has been a crazy, crazy week.
It's been a crazy week. You were hooked immediately.
I was hooked immediately. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, just couldn't sleep. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm going to watch this thing. And I have to say, I love it. I think it's great. Some of the feedback that we're getting is people are bored. People were so in love with the season 1 cast that I think it's harder for them to get into this season.
Yeah, they want the same characters.
And little did I know, because I don't know, reality check, was I on this season, Ashley? Season 2? Am I on it?
No.
Oh, I'm not on it. Oh, that's hard to believe because it seems like I'm on it.
Oh, it does.
Considering, the all the feedback that I'm getting, people think they are seeing me.
So yeah, Jessica is, you were seeing a lot more activity on social and lots of tags, and you're like, what's going on? And apparently some people think that you are comparable to a season 2 castmate.
It seems, well, the relationship seems pretty familiar with
In what way?
Shayna and Kyle to myself and Mark.
Yeah.
It's a mirror, essentially, it seems like.
I know that they wanted that element back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she went home.
She went home.
She flew
in Mexico.
home.
And so she did not want to participate anymore. And that is her prerogative. We live in a free nation, and it is her prerogative to go home.
And people are mad at her for leaving.
People are very mad at her. And I just want to say, like, up front, I think there is something endearing about every single person that's on this cast. And the amount of hate that I've seen spewed at this person already, I think Love is Blind 2 has been out for 2 days, is disgusting. Yeah. And this is a person that's putting herself out there. These two are in a relationship, and there's so many dynamics that can play out in a 10-day period when you're just meeting people and you're not even seeing them. So everybody, take a walk in her shoes. Let's have a bit of a reality check here.
It's people projecting because everyone's been rejected, right? So people don't like when someone rejects someone, and they're like mad because they're thinking about the time they were rejected. So they're thinking, oh my gosh, you are the worst person. He loves you. How could you leave him? Isn't it about being true to yourself though? Isn't that what the show is about? Like real feeling?
You're absolutely right on both accounts. I think the viewers really internalize this show. And I don't know if it's similar on other shows, but there are many, many men who have come into my DMs and have just said the most horrific things, more so than women. And that they internalized some of the things that
absolutely
that they saw or they perceived.
Yeah,
exactly.
Some girl did it to me, and I can't believe you. Let's start from the top though. So, and I'm so bad with names, so I'm gonna have to remember. I gotta tell you, I like the Indian couple because it looks like they're gonna have an Indian, like a traditional wedding. I can't wait to see that. I like them.
I agree. But I also like that they're going against tradition. The fact that he kissed her feet, that was
really sweet.
I loved that.
He was quite problematic in the pods. I was just kind of like, like one of the questions he asked, I was like, really? That's kind of like skeezy. And I also feel like that's like someone who's like a little insecure himself to be asking questions like that. Like, can I lift you up? And like all of these questions about weight and appearance. And especially because what's her name? Deepti? She does have some, self-confidence issues. So I was really put off by that initially.
Agreed. And I'm also not sold that he had this self-revelation after 2.5 days. Oh, I have realized I am no longer this person.
Yeah.
And now I see people for who they are on the inside. I'm so glad that I had this revelation while I was in the pods, and now I can move on and be the best person that I can be. Not sold.
They're giving me cousin vibes. They're giving me like,
yeah.
and like we'll take it or leave it kind of thing.
Right.
Like,
right.
But I do like, I mean, I think there's something to having the same culture and norms that makes it easier to get along with somebody like in this situation, especially like, okay, well, I know the person on the other side of this is Indian like me, or, you know, Black like me, or whatever. And so like, all right, we'll at least have some things to bond over.
Right. And I have to say that skews things. I think it skews things a bit when you're in the pods, because you don't have the connection to your family and friends. And all of a sudden you're talking to someone who has something very, very deep in common with you.
Yeah.
But I think you could potentially over-index. I hope they're not. But you can over-index on that. Like I said, with Mark, he happened to be from Chicago. At that time, I felt I needed somebody that I could just feel like was home.
Literally.
So I'm really hoping that, I really hope those two work out. I did not like the butt grab.
Ew.
Did not like that at all. I was cringing, and so was Ben. And
she has a nice ass, but that's not what this is about.
She has great. It was great. It's very nice, but it's not what this is about at all. And he said if her booty was within 20 miles, it would be his. And I just felt like that's controlling. But I just, look in my eyes. If I'm meeting you for the first time and we've gotten this deep and we're getting engaged, look in my eyes. And it sucked because he did the really cute reversal of tradition with her feet, but he also did that. So for me, you know, I was kind of like, oh, well, that's a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I would have been like I think I would have felt violated. But they're engaged, so you can't really say that, right?
They're engaged. So and the other thing is, I don't want to judge their relationship, whatever works for them. And they seem, you know, really physically, you know, advanced. More so than myself. So hey, go for it.
Okay, what's the next couple? You're better with
Nick and Danielle.
Who are they?
They
I know
are.
the faces.
Yeah, it's the white couple.
Okay.
And she's the one that drank the water in Mexico, obviously, because she ended up on the floor in the shower. I cannot believe they showed her with like she had like the toast on her thigh. And she's like nibbling it.
Film her when she was in the fetal
They're like,
the toilet.
They always have to give you the visual. It is the thing with TV. You have to get the visual or it did not happen. So
I was dying.
Poor Danielle. I mean, she seems like a sweetie. I like this couple. I think he's a bit of a pot stirrer.
At first I was like, oh, this is very normal. I could see them getting along. And then she went straight up like crazy.
She did?
On their honeymoon when she was like, yeah, I was watching you. She was like, I was watching you. Like, remember, because she had to stay back.
I'm going to disagree with you on this.
No, just because that's something you would do.
I would do it. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick up for her on this because she's just newly engaged. You have no idea what you just got yourself into, and you can't go to the meeting of all the couples. I'm watching over the balcony with binoculars. What is going on? The woman wants information. I'm sorry. Ignorance is not bliss, and she caught him up.
For everyone listening, this is 1,000% something Jessica would do. So
I'm sorry. And, you know, I had a lot of insecurity in the past. Thank God I'm with someone who gives me so much security, more so than ever before, which is why I've finally committed. But she doesn't. He gave her so much commitment in the pods. And I feel like he starts to backpedal on that a little bit in Mexico. So I totally get her. She's feeling uneasy. She's like, what is this man doing? Let me go check it out. I'm with you. So we can agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, we got to agree to disagree on them. But I do think that was a pretty good match. I think that that could work.
They're cute. They're really cute. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah. I think she's just got to like chill. Just go with the flow. Probably easier said than done, but like
it's much easier said than done.
I would have that.
Just go with the flow, babe. Ash, you would never ever make it in this experiment. There is no go with the flow, okay?
Oh, I know. Okay, so that's the second couple. Who's next?
Jarrett and Ayana.
said I really like Jarrett.
I really like him. I think he's honest. He told her, hey, I had more feelings for Mallory than you, but I'm going to go ahead with this relationship. And I think that's okay because it's such a gamble and a risk going onto the show. And it's, hey, maybe this is what's meant to be because Mal and I weren't. And I think that's okay. The guy also got stabbed last year. Like, let him be married and be a happy man.
Yeah, I think he had great personality. I think that he was funny. I think that he was charming. I was surprised that Mallory didn't go for him. I thought that they would be, even in the pods,
Same.
I thought, oh gosh, they're going to love each other.
Same.
Because I think she's kind of genuine, like really down to earth personality as well. Like she's very, I just think they mesh well.
I think so too. But I think Jarrett and Iyanna are mom and dad. I think they're going to make it.
Ooh.
I think they're going to make it. She is this little cutie, and she just fits so perfectly in his arms, and he's this big guy, and I feel he's loyal. Yeah. He's super loyal, and I think she's all in. I think they're going to make it. That is my vote for the most compatible couple, Jarrett and Iyanna.
Okay.
You don't feel the same way.
No, I guess Iyanna hasn't left like a mark on me. Like she's not super memorable right now. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean like, I think Mallory really stood out to me, like in the pods with him. And I think, and maybe it is because she was second best and there's not really a better way to say that. You know, even she said that she was second best. And, I think it works. Like it looks like they're attracted to each other. What's not to love? They're both like good looking people. They're on vacation, but we'll see. I mean, I think that the Mallory thing is going to come up again.
Oh, it's definitely going to come up again.
Yeah.
I think it already is. And by the way, speaking of vacation, can we just talk about how much nicer this resort is than what we had in season 1? They have plunge pools.
I thought, are they in Mexico again or where are they?
I think they're in Mexico, but this time the resort seems much nicer. The food looks better. The rooms are better. They also have music that is not white label. So, I mean, you're welcome, season 2.
Yeah, they upped the budget.
The budget has been increased.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so that's...
So, speaking of Mal, Mal and Sal, big girl crush on Mal. I mean, just... So she's real, good. So open. My favorite date of the pods was when she played Never Have I Ever with Sal. And she was just brilliant and she's beautiful. She looks to me kind of like Kate Hudson.
You think she looks like Kate Hudson?
I do. Mallory? I do.
What?
I'm getting Kate Hudson vibes and I have a huge crush on her. I love her. I think she's amazing. And I also think her relationship with Sal is going to change. I think they had the sexual chemistry, which is huge. Coming out of the pods, at first, she obviously didn't like what she saw. Right. But they christened their relationship night 1.
Christened.
And I think that's good because she's throwing herself into it. And I think that's going to grow.
I don't have high hopes for that. I think that might be forced. And I think she's probably just like a sexual being. And like, as we heard from the game. And I think that might be just like her way of trying. But I don't know if that's like gonna be enough in the end because I think she's way different. I think she's too different from that guy.
Okay.
Like speaking of another, like he wasn't memorable to me.
Sal.
Yeah. I just thought,
okay.
Like I would, I don't know.
Yeah. I think he's so sweet. He seems so sweet.
Seems sweet.
And I think I liked that he told her, this is a safe space for you.
Yeah.
Please tell me anything you're feeling. Because I saw myself in that situation when I got to Mexico and I realized that myself and Mark were different than we were in the pods, which that's another thing I'm really happy that everybody's being very vocal about. Wait, I'm not seeing this relationship translate from the pods. I was the only one that said that in my season.
Yeah.
And they're all saying it.
Great. That's great.
And the fact that he sat her down and said, this is a safe space. You can say whatever. And she's telling him, hey, look, I'm not really feeling this the same way that I thought I would. That is everything because you were in this experience and it's scary and it's heavy and you're about to make a huge commitment. You have to be able to be honest with that person. And the fact that he's giving her that space is everything.
And yes, on season 1, I feel like everyone was made to look like everyone was in love, running on the beach in the sand. And then there was just like you, and there was like a shot of you, and you're just like, well, and you were the only one. And
And
now I
everyone's like,
think,
what's wrong with her?
yeah. And now I think that more couples are like, like you were option 2, or I'm not really feeling it. Like, no, I don't want to do it. Like they're being more vocal about it.
Exactly. And it's hard when you just talk to someone and hear their voice and then you really see them physically. It is such a weird thing that happens in your mind.
What happens? Tell us.
It's I saw his face and I was like, this is a person I was talking to the whole time. This is so wild. Give me a minute before I'm kissing you.
Yeah.
Because can I be honest? I had been watching some of this last night. I was just kind of fast forwarding through. And every time the couples met and they were kissing, we were like,
I know. It's secondhand embarrassment.
it's the most awkward kissing.
It is.
It is. I cannot watch it. And I know that's how I felt. I'm like, okay, I have to kiss this person. It is a different experience physically with a person than it is talking to someone.
Yeah.
And they were so out of sync. I don't care who you are. Everything has to be in sync
It was
for you to
definitely
marry someone.
Forced kissing, forced.
Oh, the kissing. Oh.
Cringe.
Oh.
Cringe.
And they're like trying so hard because it's your fiance.
Yeah.
It's
there's no
just,
back down.
it's a crazy experience. So Sal and Mal, I mean, I love her. You know, I think she's a real one. And I'm excited to see her journey. I hope it works out for her.
Who's next?
Biggest storyline, Kyle, Shayna, and Natalie.
And Natalie. Let me just say, when Natalie was first on the screen, I really was like not attracted, but like very drawn to her. I think she has the most like soothing voice. I think she could be like a narrator. She sounds fantastic. And she seemed genuinely like very sweet. I was thinking, what is this girl doing on this show? Like she looks cute. She's accomplished. She just seemed like really normal. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised that she took this on.
She's a total package and she's here for the right reasons.
Right.
I've also seen her posting very little on Instagram, which shows, that's why she's here. Yeah. She wants to find love, and she seems so genuine, and she has this little girl like persona that I loved when they got engaged, and she ran out and she was hopping around, and she just feels everything so much. So, I think she's America's sweetheart. She's the one to root for, and we love her.
Yeah, she really is. She's the sweetheart. Mm-hmm. Oh, must be nice.
Love her. We love her.
You were not the sweetheart.
I've got to be honest. A lot of people are throwing shade at Shane. I immediately found him very endearing. He reminds me so much of my buddy from Chicago. He is very Chicago-like, and I think he's making the show on so many points, but his uncomfortability is everything to me. It is so funny. This guy is like massaging the markers. His feet are up in the air. His jaw, when his jaw comes down, it comes way down. Like he's so animated. He has so much anxious energy, and it is making the entire show. So I'm sorry that people see all these red flags, but he is the entertainment of this show.
He's got a good personality, but he is such a frat boy bro that it was hard for me to watch it at times. I thought, of course this guy is like getting his pick. You know what I mean? Like, of course this guy's the one who's like choosing between these two ladies, and he's not going to get any flack. It's going to be them, right? So, and I was just like, I don't know. It's like, ugh. But I know that he's very attractive to a lot of people. And like you said, he is making the show. He's a great personality that they cast. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he really likes Natalie. And so I was really happy about that.
He seems to really like her. I wonder what would have happened if Shayna came around earlier, though.
Oh, I think they would have.
I think they would have ended up together. I feel like they seem very cohesive.
Yeah.
And, it's two totally different relationships. And I have to say, obviously, I saw a lot of parallels from the situation that I was in.
Right.
And the thing I didn't like was when Natalie re-entered the room and she just said, I am feeling so confident. He always makes me feel secure every single pod meeting. And she comes in the room and he did go into bro mode. And he said, wait, what are you talking about? Aren't you dating other people? Be cool, Natalie.
Yeah.
And every woman has experienced this. You know, the guy's in, he's
And you
in, he's
think
in,
it's
and then all of a
going
sudden
well.
he has a bro moment.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah. And you know what's really interesting? So Gary's not watching this with me, but he saw some of it. And then he saw a part, I think it was when Natalie came out. And he was just like kind of observing. And he goes, oh, she's gonna be the villain. And it
Oh,
was,
wow.
it was Shayna. It was the blonde one. Is that her name?
Yes.
Shayna. It was her. And I go, why do you think that? And he goes, well, look at how they're shooting her. Like just how they were filming her. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so funny. Like I don't know, when they film like Natalie, it's very like endearing and like very sweet, but they kind of filmed Shayna like on the couch, like looking like a bitch.
Yeah.
And he was like, she's gonna get it. And I was like, well, yeah, probably, you know. Let me ask you this. How do you feel about being brought up in this season again? Because there is kind of a similar storyline.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. I actually Friday night, Ben said, hey, I want to take you out. I want to celebrate your podcast. And I was having such a fun day, and we just released a podcast. And then at some point, everything just kind of took a turn. And there was so much coming at me. And it really brought up a lot of feelings from last year. And it was so hard, to be honest, because I felt like I'm still being exploited as that person. And I don't know if there was any strategy to reinventing that story from the ashes. But it feels like there's no way it couldn't have. So yeah, it was really frustrating because I felt like, hey, I'm stepping into this world and I've come out of this, and you know, every single comment is still about me. So, and I'm pretty sure I didn't sign up to do the show again. So it was really tough. And to be honest, Ben had a babysitter and he came in to get me, and I was in my robe doing a down dog in the room, listening to my Calm app because everything felt so heavy. And when you have all these eyes on you, it really breaks down your nervous system.
Yeah.
When you have one person that's mad at you and you think they're thinking about you in a negative way, think of how that affects you and your system. We're really not made for this. So multiply that times millions, and that hit me again. And yeah, it ruined my night, ruined my date. We ended up going to this restaurant, and I was like sitting there crying, and you know, I'm sure like everyone noticed. But yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. But it has more so than ever. I wanted to show up here today and talk about the endearing qualities about all of these people who are putting themselves out there to, you know, take all these hits, or, you know, be your favorite if, you know, they so get that chance to be, which is so amazing. But yeah.
Well, you're a tough cookie. So, and yeah,
I guess on the flip side of it, Ash, I had people reaching out. There was a woman who reached out and she said, hey, I just want you to know, when I started watching your show, I was in an abusive marriage, and seeing your story gave me hope. And today I'm a free woman, and I feel like I owe a little bit to you. And, you know, give me 2 gallons of wine and put me back on the screen for something like that. I am so happy that I could attribute to somebody moving away from such toxicity.
That was absolutely worth it. Oh, I love that. You're so cute. All right, we have a voicemail on our hotline.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Our very first.
Do you want me to play it?
Our very first VM.
You can listen to that. All right.
Let's hear it.
Let me know if you can hear it. Kind of long.
I just feel like Love is Blind is like so toxic, because especially after watching the first 5 episodes of the second season, like I feel like some of these couples are literally just trying to stick together because they're on TV. And that's so damaging, like, to mental health. Like, I don't feel like any of them are right for each other, and they're like fighting like crazy. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I just don't feel like any of them are actually in it because they love each other. Like, is it just for the clout, or is it because you really want to love this person? I don't know. This season
Michaela,
is like really damaging
the
to
same way
me.
you do. When Jessica went on that show, season 1, I was like, these are not marriages, these are businesses. And I think that some people probably feel the same way I do, as evident by this voicemail. What do you think about that?
I think it's up to interpretation, right? I know when Mark and I got to Mexico, he immediately had this idea and wanted to get started on content for us being a fitness couple on social media. And that was a big turning point in, my thinking.
Wait a minute. Let me just clarify. This is after you got engaged. You guys went on your honeymoon, and he was already talking about starting a fit couple business.
Yes.
And you were like there for love.
Right. And I already work 50 plus hours a week. So it's like, I don't know when I'll be able to do this, but it's probably not going to happen, considering this is like the first topic of conversation. But I think, of course, people that are willing to put themselves up for this are also willing to be famous. That's what I'll say. Some people are better at it than others. But I do think, I showed up there looking for love. And I know that many of my fellow contestants, also showed up looking for love. So I don't think we can be the judge and jury on that.
Okay, that's fair.
And it sounds very toxic, but also these people are about to make the biggest commitment of their lives to an absolute stranger.
I do like that she said it seems like they're fighting like hell to make it work. Should you have to fight that hard to make a relationship work?
I think that's a tough one. In this scenario, I almost think more conflict is better, because you need to fight through some of these issues. You need to make sure you can get on the same page. If everything looks really, really rosy, then that stuff's just going to come up later. And I always wonder to myself, after our show wrapped, what were the questions that these married couples wish they would have asked before they got married?
What's one you would have asked? What's one question that you think would have changed everything?
And who knows what that is for the couples, but you want to make sure that you're getting through all of that. And you're really working to, be in a good place to actually commit to marriage.
Yeah. Well, tell us though, like, is there a question that you wish you would have asked in the pods? Like,
in the pods. No, because I was getting the best answer always. It was always just, it was always smoke and mirrors compared to real life.
It was a pageant answer.
So I don't think there was a question that I could have asked. It was me just verifying and getting an authentic response in real life. And I got that response. And unfortunately, it wasn't in line with what I got in the pods.
Now, I think some people are like, Shayna, she hasn't even given him a chance. Do you think that sometimes you just know, though? Like, I feel like as anybody, like after a first date, you could be like, I'm all set.
Well, let's dig into it a little bit with Shayna and Kyle, because she is a Christian woman and she puts that out there.
Yes, she does.
And, he comes back and says he's atheist and asks her if she believes in evolution. And she says no.
Right.
So this is a huge part of a relationship.
It is.
And he also says that his mom was very religious, and in the end he chose to be an atheist, and that would be okay if Shayna were to instill that same sentiment and that religion into their kids' lives. At the end of the day, he would want them to choose what's best for them. So Ben and I got all into this discussion last night about evolution and, being Christian, and the Big Bang Theory was also talked about in the conversation. So I don't know. I want to get your take on this, because I know you are so attested to your faith, and that's not something that you could compromise for. I feel like she doesn't want to compromise for it.
Right. You're like, I'll show him Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's a simple answer. And so that's just me though, and so I think more people or other people might, give things chances. Like that's like a foundational thing for me. And for me, that's just like, that's a deal breaker. So like everyone has their deal breakers. Some people might say money. Some people might say like, like some people are shallow and say height and just all that. Mine is that absolutely wouldn't even go any further. We'd be great friends maybe, but I can't that's just too much work for me.
Right.
But I definitely understand, like, especially if you have feelings for somebody, not wanting to just like cut that off. But you've dated an atheist before.
I did date an atheist in Chicago, but I knew it wouldn't be long term. That's the
Yeah.
kicker.
Yeah. And the whole time I feel like you were thinking about it and always questioning and like asking me and like, you know, and so like, yeah, that's just one thing that you don't want to have to like confront every single day if that is something that's important to you. But for her, you could see it's still hard to let go.
Exactly.
You know?
It's hard to let go of that connection and the experience.
And the
So I was so confused. I thought they were over after that conversation, and I thought she was
Right.
off the show. Then all of a sudden, she walks into the room. He walks into the room. There's a ring box sitting
Right.
there.
Right.
And it's his mother's engagement ring. And she's like, she's sitting there holding the box, and she's like, she does not want to open this box, you can tell, because she's then gone 2 steps too far and she cannot reverse. So, of course, then he asks her to marry him, and she reluctantly says yes. It was not a magical moment for sure. It was pretty terrifying to watch, and I could see myself in that because they've just had this huge conversation. And to me, he needed to talk through that before he asked her this and said, I'm giving you my mother's engagement ring, because he put her in a pretty compromising and uncomfortable position, you know, in my
Can we
opinion.
talk about that though? Can we talk about like, this is like a quick pivot, the engagement ring, because I know Mallory wanted gold and she didn't get gold. Like, can you tell the people what the options were for that? Because I was kind of surprised that somebody had their mother's engagement ring. Did you pick yours out? Did you like tell anyone in the pods what you wanted? Kind of take us through that.
There were 5 different styles that the guys could choose from. I didn't tell anyone what I wanted because I never expected that I was going to be engaged until right before that. But Mark actually gave me a bracelet that was his grandma's at some point, because you can send gifts across pods.
Oh my gosh.
So
still
at some
have it?
point, he had given me this very significant emblem that had been passed down from generations through his family. And that meant so much to me. And you have to do things like this in order to feel like you're at this point, you know, with this person to get engaged. So he did that. I didn't know you could bring your own ring. No one on our season did that. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Wait, do you still have the bracelet?
No, I gave that back, of course.
That is really cool. So I was curious about that when I was like, they were talking about the rings. I was like, wait, I didn't realize you got to pick like what you wanted or.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you pick what you want. You can pick out the guy's band and they can pick yours.
Okay, very
But-
romantic. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
So people were pretty excited about the diversity of the cast.
I said that.
And they were promoting a lot of variety of people in the initial trailer. And then we just didn't see them in the actual show.
What do you think?
Disappointing, because in our season, I kept seeing comments come through, hey, I wish these people seemed more relatable in terms of looks. So I felt like they delivered on that in the second season, or seemingly from the trailer, but we just didn't see a lot of those people actually come through and be engaged. So obviously they're not following their stories.
Do you think that, because, you know, I think a lot of people don't know too, like on your season, there was actually a couple that got engaged and they were not highlighted. They were not shown, right?
Oh, there were 8 couples that got engaged in our season. But they weren't expecting for so many people to get engaged, so they could only follow 5. And now on this season, there are 6. And just so you know, on our season, the 3 couples that didn't get followed that were engaged are no longer together. So there are just 2 married couples at this point, or anyone that's together.
Yeah, so there's a chance that there were more couples this time around too that got engaged and just are not being followed.
That could be the case. That could be. I have no idea.
Oh.
But I
then
wonder how many are going to get married.
what do you think?
I think 2.
Let me think.
I'm going to say 2 right now. I know Shayna and Kyle. There's no way. I don't think they can repair from where they are now.
They're getting married. I don't see any of them married at this point. I don't.
I know.
I think, let me think. I don't even see Natalie and Kyle married.
Natalie and Shane.
Natalie and Shane. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think none of this makes sense.
And Ashley, don't worry. Last season, no one remembers anyone's name from last season at all. They're like, who was that girl that you try to steal their man? And then everyone that comments nasty things to me about Barnett, they call him Burnett. No one knows anyone's name except Lauren and Cameron.
No, everyone knows your name, bitch, and you know it. Everyone knows your name. Whether it's for the right reason or not, who cares? But that's why they're bringing it back up this season.
Right, exactly.
Because
yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I feel like at this point, there's, a lot of turmoil going on. Right now, they're just getting into it. They're getting out of the pods, and it's kind of like, oh, God, what did I get myself into? This is who this person really is. And you're seeing them in everyday life. So go easy on these guys. I think there's something endearing about every single person that's on the show. I got to say, Shayna's looks are landing for me. I'm loving her outfit choices. And I feel like she's a girl we would hang out with.
Yeah, I think that about Natalie. I think with Natalie, I'd like to get a coffee with her.
She's amazing. I like them both. I don't think they need to be pitted against each other. I think they both have very different qualities. I think both of these women are lovable, and there's always more to the story, and we don't know her full story yet. So for all the shade and all of the hate that's being spewed, just remember that these people are also going through things on their own. I know Shane just lost his dad 3 months before he started taping the show, so he's throwing himself into this. And, his heart into this. And I can't imagine what he's experiencing having just lost a parent. So always be kind and always remember that there's things going on in these people's lives. They are human. And please, when you feel you're sharing things, know that it probably will be read by the person that you are at mentioning. So choose to be kind. You're being entertained by this show. So just remember that. Stay humble. Put yourself in their shoes.
I'm like, people don't want to hear this. Just kidding, but it's true. It's true. What do you think they're going through right now, like watching this?
It's interesting because I'm thinking that the couples that are married, when they're watching this back and they're going, oh, you said what to what girl? Like Jarrett and Mal having these conversations. And now if he's married to Ayanna, she's watching, him interact with this woman that he chose as his number one. So that's got to be really tough on their marriages for those that are still married.
It's so weird.
How would you feel watching Gary be talking to someone prior to you guys?
I think I would honestly get a kick out of that. I'd be like, really? Is that what you told her? That's cute.
You would hate it.
I know. Yeah. It would definitely be weird.
So hard.
All right. So people who have not already, please listen and watch episode 1, and then please subscribe to this on Apple and Spotify, and please leave us a 4-star rating if you love us.
How about 5?
Is it out of 5?
It's 5 stars, Ash.
A 4 or 5 will do. And also, please call our hotline because we will play your voice messages if they're nice to us.
And thanks, Michaela, for calling in today. Great question. Let us know your thoughts. What do you want to hear from us?
Yeah, we'll talk about whatever.
We're going to keep doing this.
If you want to, guest appearances, it's all coming together. Okay.
Yeah. This is the Unsettled Podcast. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.